Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be sharing what I believe everyone missed from Palantir's Q3 earnings report. So let's get started. First of all, I want to bring it back to what my earnings expectations were for Palantir in terms of revenue. As you'll see with that black box, I was expecting Palantir to deliver 482 million. They actually came in a little under that at 478 million. So how does that stack up? Here's the updated track record. My estimates in blue, Palantir's guidance in green, the actual revenues over the last 6 forecasting periods. Palantir's estimates have been off by -2%. Mine have been off by +2%. So some updated figures in terms of the graphs that I like to show off revenue. Palantir has been decelerating a little bit, although we do know Palantir's guiding for now over 500 million for the fourth quarter, which I consider to be pretty good. That is about 6% quarter-on-quarter growth. And of course, you can take a look of what that would be year over year. It's going to fall short of the 30%. But all that being said, getting over that $500 million mark is something I've been looking forward to for Palantir. I thought it would happen earlier, but it is happening. And in terms of the operating loss, you'll see Palantir's operating loss actually improved. They lost less money year over year from Q3, as you'll see, although not the best in the more recent quarters due to a lot of the hiring, which is totally understandable. And then in terms of net loss, no improvement on that year over year, but not the worst quarter. Palantir's winding down its SPAC program. That's just to be expected, right? I think the analysts have finally gotten closer. They were only off by 1 cent in EPS this time, although 1 cent being 50% off, right? A 50% miss or whatever you would say for that. Let's get into what I believe everyone missed about Palantir's Q3. So here I've compiled some numbers from the help of a subscriber who actually works in investment banking. Thank you very much for your help. You know who you are. And here we go with Palantir's last 5 quarters, just so we can look at the year over year comparison, going from 392 in Q3 of 2021 to 478 in Q3 of 2022. You can look at all of these numbers yourself, but more importantly, we will skip ahead to Palantir's revenue growth, which you can see on screen now. So their growth was in Q3 36% in 2021, and it has now dropped in Q3 of 2022 to 22%. You obviously see that on the screen. So just going across, 36%, 34%, 31%, 26%, 22%. That is the deceleration in growth that has significantly impacted the stock and impacted a lot of my expectations for Palantir's revenue growth going forward, and has resulted in the withdrawal of Palantir's 30% guidance. As we know, they removed last couple quarters. Why was that? Well, as you see, Palantir's revenue growth was dropping and on a trajectory to fall below that 30%. So naturally, they removed it. Now that they're doing only 22%, right? Now the question is, will they only sustain 22% or will they far surpass that going forward? Getting back above the 30%, my opinion is they will. But for the next minute, I want to talk about Moomoo, a company that I've been working with to provide you with up to 15 free stocks. Moomoo is a brokerage firm based in Palo Alto, California. I'm in the app on Palantir stock, but I want to show you how great it is to learn more about Palantir. You can head to the summary page, view shareholder holdings, and see the latest details on percentage ownership, shares owned, changes over time, increases and decreases regarding positions. And here we get an earnings recap with revenues of 473 million and net income loss of 179 million. The business revenue composition breakdown, government coming in at 58% of revenue, regional with the United States at 57%. We can take a look at financial indicators, financial estimates going forward, the technical indicators, the company's valuation, the latest news. For a limited time, you can get 15 free stocks plus $10 cash back for this special promotion period through November 15th. Thank you. Let's take a look at the segmentation here. For the US, it's gone from 46%, 40%, 38%, 45%, 30%, so some variability there. US has been very strong. Internationally, however, 24%, 28%, 21%, 4%, 10% international growth has really stagnated. And from the commercial side of things, 37%, 47%, 54%, 46%, and only 17%. So what a lot of people are missing is the commercial segment for Palantir has significantly decelerated. And you compare that against government side, 34%, 26%, 16%, 13%, 26%. So this is really giving you a flavor for the fact that Palantir's government side has re-accelerated, but the commercial side has really decelerated a lot. And so it's very interesting. It's the opposite of what we've saw the last few quarters. And if it weren't for Palantir's government business turning up in Q3, the numbers would have been a lot worse. And so this is very interesting. We did hear a little bit on the call. Obviously, management sounds very confident in regards to the future, but if we just take a step back here and look at some of these numbers, and I'm comparing year over year from Q3 of 2021, 55 million in US commercial up to 88 million, so great strong growth there. International commercial 119 million and falling actually year over year to 116 million. US government 172 million to 209, so that's where we're talking about very strong growth, as well as the international government 46 to 65. Okay, and moving along to more of these figures. So the US commercial going from 103% to 60%. Now, of course, you can't compound at 103% forever, right? And 60% is still very respectable. But if you look at last quarter, we saw 121%. So that growth is getting cut in half. And for international commercial, we saw 19% last year and negative 3% this year. So completely reversing course. Seems like internationally, the commercial side is having some issues, but on the home front in the US, Palantir commercial is doing well. And for US government, we've seen some deceleration as we talked about, but nonetheless, still holding up fairly well as you would expect from the government side of things. And the international government, however, really seems to have provided a lot of the strength that was needed, going from 35% to 45% to 9%, dropping to negative 18%. This really dragged on Q2 2022, and then come all the way back to 41% for the third quarter of 2022. And just for some comparison's sake, we have Snowflake down here, Snowflake US, 99%, 95%, 80%, 80%. I don't think we have their most recent data yet, but all of that to say, Snowflake is obviously valued a lot more than Palantir, so it's not just an apples to apples comparison in terms of growth, but if you are comparing the two, you would compare US commercial against Snowflake, and Palantir actually surpasses Snowflake in terms of growth, although they have dropped off more recently. So let's bring this all together. The reason I titled this video, "What did everyone miss about Palantir?" is because this is a very important graph that all Palantir investors need to see. This is everything we were just talking about in regards to the international government really gaining some share from the last few quarters, the US government holding steady and strong, but the international commercial dwindling a little bit, and US commercial holding steady from where it was, right? So this is a very interesting breakdown. We saw, if we look all the way back into 2020, US commercial was much smaller than it is today, showing that this has been a very important driver for the business. And international commercial, however, has been actually dropping over time as a percentage of Palantir's total revenue. So they really need to get that going again. And the US government has been pretty steady and strong, had some issues in the last few quarters and a little bit previously. And then international government, if we're just looking at the very top there, has been a little bit all over the place, but all of these could use some work to improve and get north of that 30% goal. But hopefully this gives you some color for where Palantir is trending. US commercial had some issues this quarter. International commercial certainly did. Palantir commercial as a whole has been slowing down, but that's only been more recent of a trend. Hopefully they can reverse that. Whereas Palantir's United States government business and international government really picked up some ground, gaining significantly, which helped out overall when we take a look at the revenue segmentation for Palantir, contributing to that $478 million. So hopefully this video was super helpful. Leave a like if it was. Let me know what else you want me to cover from Palantir's Q3 earnings. Also, don't forget you can check out the Palantir valuation model at palantirvision.com. Until next time.